A couple has come forward with shocking allegations of assault, abuse, and negligence that resulted in the death of a baby. Benedict Arthur and his wife Molly say their nightmare began after the Ministry of Education called them in for a meeting to discuss the assignment of a school for their daughter. Upon arriving at the Francis Compton building that houses the ministry at the Cashie's waterfront, Mr. Arthur says his wife signed their names as required, but the security guard insisted that they each must sign in individually. The couple refused to comply and proceeded to their meeting. Whilst there, Mr. Arthur claims that 3 security guards entered the room and their lives changed.
She could not find that how her child cannot get a school, a proper school, and she has 50 marks, or she is giving her a school at 11 marks. She wanted to know what is going on, so she was asking her questions. She is a loud-spoken person, and her voice is naturally loud, and they claim that as though she was quarreling. She was not quarreling, she was only asking a question. In a few minutes coming, 3 securities came from the door, say they come to put the 2 of us out. But in coming to put the 2 of us out, the 3 of them pass me and go straight to my wife. And the bigger one want to handle my wife, going to handle my wife on her hands. So I had to go forward and tell him, no, you cannot touch my wife because she is pregnant. She is pregnant. So I went and I had his hands off my wife's hands, and I stand in between them, telling, no, you cannot put your hands on her. Then he cautioned me aside and he went back to her. By the time I come back, all of them push me and they start beating me, kicking me down on the ground and giving me boot lash and dragging me off, and kind of like tear up my jersey. Well, I forgot the jersey to show you all how that jersey is straight. And they roughing up her. I could see they roughing up her, and I cannot do nothing. And they dragged me off, giving me boot lashes. I knew my wife was in a complication.
Molly Arthur was in her 9th month of pregnancy. The stress of the day's events, Mr. Arthur says, was too much for her, especially after he started having complications from the beating that he endured.
Because I was peeing blood and all these things in my urine and these things, and all that put a trauma onto her, where all that thing, all the stress rushed her into labor before her time. And I lost my baby because of this problem.
So have you spoken to the Ministry of Education? You tried the permanent secretary, the chief education officer. Whom have you spoken to?
Well, when they beat me, I tried to get I went to make a report on that in the police station. They pushed me around and give me all different ridicule thing. I went to police complaint and said, well, I don't like the thing. The police complaint sent me to the guy that's in charge of the CID. Guy of the CID, the one that's in charge of the CID, he said he was there. When another push around, he's saying he's not he, and he's saying at the ending getting to know is he in charge of the thing. I still up to now cannot get a report. So what I'm saying there now, okay, as these 3 have caused me to lose my kid and beat me there, what is the Ministry of Education and of Education and the security firm and the Ministry of Health doing, because they had a negligence in the hospital to failing to attending to my wife at the emergency when she have over 2 hours sitting down on a bench before they could have attended to her.
Molly Arthur claims that the assault happened in the presence of high-level officials of the ministry who did nothing to stop the brutality.
The chief education officer was there, the DPS was there, everybody for the Ministry of Education was there. Nobody didn't say stop it or anything. All they say, kick them. I remember every living word. You understand? I'm not going to walk and fight for them. I am fighting in blood for blood. That's how I take in it.
Wait, I'm sorry, did you say that the officials there
All
said that they should told the officers, the security guards, to kick you?
Yes, because when my husband was getting kicked, all of them, the staff then was out there, because when they bring my husband outside, I'm still asking them, Who is the person call me? They can't answer me up to now. And looking, I saw the DPS. I speak to Marcus Edward. And I went outside to get my husband. When I came back, the DPS turned and tell them, put my bag outside. You understand? All the time I seen her. And what I'm saying, all of them was there. Up to this day, none of them have called my husband or I for discuss anything. I'm not going to them. If they want to play with fire, if I don't threaten people. And because I fight a case with my daughter, the same daughter, they're holding it against me because everywhere you go, it's an attack you get and an attack you get. And I had enough of it. Yes, I'm a foreigner. But the Prime Minister married a foreigner. And even he will do whatever he has to do for protect his wife.
The couple has also levied blame at Victoria Hospital, claiming that had Mrs. Arthur received due care and attention, her baby would be alive today.
I had to wait a half hour for see a nurse because there was no nurse at the station. We had to walk up to the mid room. I had to sit down there a whole 2 hours. All the time my baby is kicking going on, all sort of things going on. I don't know what's going on. And I tell them, if you do what you have to do, you want to save my child. What are you doing? I was taking notes in this now. When you reach to the last one, you're telling me my child can't make it. Even though you say my child can't make it, there was not even a machine or anything on top that child for say that you try or anything. So we feeling that child still had life in him because we know when you say faded, you don't die right away. Victoria Hospital always. So I want to know Ministry of Health and Ministry of Education, because all this happening on minister ground, government ground. What you want to tell me?
Everybody concerned about the children. And when they concerned about the children, those that pick up the guns, shoot and steal, they said, this was a good boy or what so. Well, my son that lost, he is actually a good boy because he have never done anything wrong. And he failed the chance because of they take it away from him. I want to know what the Prime Minister is saying, because he said the Sunday when I listened to his speech, the police was there to carry out our service, and I went to them and they refused. Up to now they have not given me a service. Am I a foreigner? I'm a born St. Lucian. I need justice for my lost child. For these free criminals that stand in this building, I want to bring them to justice. These free criminals that beat me and rough up my wife and kill my baby, I want this bring up the justice.
Meantime, the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education has refuted the version of events as recounted by the authors. In a telephone interview with CTV News, Marietta Edward denied that the couple was brutalized, especially Molly Arthur.
I can't recall everything which occurred because I was not present from the very beginning of the altercation. However, what I want to state categorically is that no member of the Ministry of Education staff put his or her hand on Mr. or Mrs. Arthur, because we have had a number of experiences with the couple, and the staff has been warned, cautioned that nobody under any circumstance whatsoever must lay a hand on Mrs. Arthur or her husband. That had been made clear to the staff, irrespective of all the threats that had been leveled at the ministry and the staff.
Ms. Edwards says the couple was acting in an aggressive manner, hurling threats at the staff. Mrs. Arthur, she says, threatened to burn down the ministry, killing them all.
When I came, there was one security guard who was stationary in the examinations unit. The young man was standing at the door to the unit, the inner door to the unit. in an attempt to protect the staff from Mrs. Arthur. There was one young man. My question to him was simply whether or not the police had already been called. He informed me that that had been done. What happened prior, I do not know. There was this one young officer, security officer, who was stationed in the examinations unit in an attempt to protect the staff on the inside of the examinations unit.
So when you say that this young security guard was there to protect the staff, there was some imminent threat to the physical space?
Threats had been made. Okay? Threats had been made.
Have you received any report, any query from the couple after this incident, which would have informed that Mrs. Arthur had lost the baby?
This is the first time I'm hearing of this.